I'm launching a school group. Who would have thought? I am honestly really excited about it, but also kind of nervous. So I figured I'd document the journey on my journey to launching a brand new school community. So if you don't know what Skool is a community-based platform that was started around 2019, 2020 by the former owner of consulting.com, Sam Ovens. So if you're new to the online space, you may not know who this is, but if you're an OG, Sam Ovens has been in the game for a very long time. From what I understand, he was doing like 20 million a year with his consulting business, and he just has been in it for a really long time. He's an OG and knows what the hell he's talking about. So fast forward, I know that he sold consulting.com and then went all in on Skool. Fast forward to just a little bit ago, if you guys are familiar with Alex Hermosi, he is really big in the online education space. He was the founder of Gym Launch, which he sold, and he's just been around the game for a really long time. So them two together are really just blowing up Skool right now. So I have been online for almost 5 years, and I have really been wanting to really just make a stake in the ground for my business and my brand. So when I first started, I had lots of community, built my brand and business off community, and then kind of like pulled back a little bit, and then now I'm back in that position of wanting to build community again. And I'm gonna break down exactly why that's really important to me. So before we get into that though, if you're new here, my name is Letice Hudson. I'm an online business coach, and I focus on helping coaches, online experts, service providers just like you land high ticket and low ticket clients online by using the power of ads, okay? So that's my forte, and I really just love what I do. And I also found that once you build a community with ads or build a brand with ads, you've got to put those folks somewhere so that they can build and really start to feel connected to you as a brand. And when we think about the way marketing and business in general has changed over the years, branding is more important than it's ever been. So for me, I'm not worried about the competition personally, because I am one of one, and you should have that same confidence that you're one of one. And we can't be ignorant to the fact that people are craving community in 2024 and beyond. So with that, comparing how community is so important, comparing wanting to build more of a brand and a household name, and also looking at the direction that we're going with more and more people coming online, I realized now there's no time better than ever to build community again. So I've decided, for better or for worse, we're gonna try out Skool. So I'll be honest, I have learned about Skool probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I signed up at one point, and then I just didn't do anything with it. I kind of ran the trial, paid for it a couple months, and then I canceled it, and I just didn't have the capacity or the bandwidth at the time to deal with building all that. So I have in the past though built a Facebook group to nearly 3,500 members. So it's not that I'm new at building community, it just community does take a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And at the time I launched my Skool group last year, I didn't really put any energy or effort into it. But I'm in the position now where community is super important to me, and I'm really ready to just kind of be more visible and also be in a place where people just know who the hell that we are and what we do and how good that we are. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, in 2024 is to launch a Skool group. So with all that being said, I'm gonna break down exactly why we decided to launch a Skool group and not other platforms, and then just kind of talk through like the pros and cons of what I've seen, and then also whether we're gonna go with a free or paid community. So if you're ready, grab your pen and notebooks and let's get into it. All right, so like I said, for me, number one reason why I wanted to launch a Skool group is community. I love Facebook. I've had tons of Facebook groups. I've been in Facebook groups. I run our paid communities right now on Facebook. And to be honest, it's been really good, right? I've used Slack in the past, but for the most part, for the last few years, we've been on Facebook. I have decided that for one, Skool is a more of a new opportunity. And if you guys have followed me for a long time, you know that I'm all about having, right timing. Right timing is so important as an entrepreneur, and so many people basically they miss out on so many things because they they miss the timing, right? When we think about, there's a chart that talks about the lifestyle of innovation, and when we think about the best time that a platform was when it first came out, and it gets more and more competitive over time, which is why on Instagram and TikTok, reach and engagement is lower than it's ever been, because it doesn't have to be any better than that, because it's already building up its user base. So when it first starts, right, it's a shiny new object, the new thing, and I'm really cautious on jumping on bandwagons, right? So I think there's a difference between like seeking a new opportunity and jumping on a bandwagon. So for me, I've seen that Alex Hormozy has come onto Skool. I've seen that people are having a lot of success with Skool. I see that Skool is getting communities back reintegrated. So for me, more than ever, it's a really great timing to build my community on that platform. The other reason I've decided that we wanted to build a school group is because, to be honest, like, and maybe this is my own personal little like ego, I guess, not really, but I really look at me as a woman of color in the online space specifically that's been very successful as a superpower. I think for a really long time I looked at it as, well, I don't look like everybody else, and it was more from a victim or, you know, like negative perspective. But now that I've grown and I've spent a lot of money on getting coaching and therapy and all these things that help me heal those parts of me, I realize now it's actually a superpower. And to be quite honest, y'all, I looked at the school games. I looked at mostly the first round of school games that launched in February 2024. And shout out to Evelyn Weiss. I have never bought any of her programs, but she is a badass, and she was the only woman in the top 10 to win the school games. And for me, that just don't sit right. All right, so it sits right in the fact that she did the damn thing, but it doesn't sit right in the fact that, like, we need more representation, period. And representation, whether it's from being a female, whether it's from being a young female, whether it's being a part of the LGBTQ community, which I'm a part of, like, it doesn't matter. We need representation in all ways. So I want to be that person that brings representation to the table, because for so long there wasn't a lot of representation, which is why I felt so small being in the online space. So a big part of it, and it's not really ego, it's really the idea of representation matters. So for me, I'm like, for one, if I could do it, another little girl that looks like me could do it, or another woman that looks like me can do it, or another person with the same background can do it as me. And that fuels my soul from such a good place. And I, had this conversation a couple years ago. I met Gabby Bernstein. If you guys don't know who she is, look her up. She's amazing. But she is like a self-help, personal development, manifestation type of like influencer. And I was in a private setting with her in a room with maybe about 30 or 40 girls. And I told her, I was like, I feel this call in my heart that I was put here to go first in a lot of ways. And she gave me really great advice, like, yes, and don't put that pressure on yourself. So for me, I sat with that for a really long time, and I'm at the point where I still truly believe that I was put here to go first for a lot of things. And also I'm going to have fun in the process, and I'm going to find joy, because previously I would really struggle with finding joy and finding fun and being first. But now with Skool, I feel really excited. I feel really invigorated about it. And honestly, I've been thinking about it for the last couple months, so I know it's time to go now. So second reason why I want to just really create some more representation and show other females, Black women, LGBTQ in this industry that they can absolutely make a crap ton of money and make a crap ton of impact and really change lives. And if I have to be the first one to show that, then I'll be damned. Giddy up. All right, so that's another reason why. The other reason why I wanted to start a school group is because MRR is super important, you guys. Now, we have MRR in our business, monthly reoccurring revenue, not master resale rights. Monthly reoccurring revenue is really important from a just overall health of a business standpoint, and Skool is really big on pushing MRR. Now, here's my caveat with MRR in like the traditional sense. I had a membership, right? So let me kind of back up really quick. Primarily what we sell in our business is high ticket offers. Now, we do sell low ticket. We have digital products. We have other ways to work with us in digital products, small courses, but 80-90% of our revenue comes from our high ticket offers. I've always looked at MRR, and it's not true MRR because there is an expiration date, but I look at MRR from a place of like, how much can I forecast out based off of the payment plans that I have in my business. So if I, like right now, just as an example, this isn't our actual MRR, but I'm just using it as an example. Like if I had maybe 7 clients signed on this month and they each paid $1,000 and they were on a 6-month contract, I can forecast that for the next 6 months, right, minus this month, so the next 5 months, I'll have $7,000 coming in regardless if I lift a finger or not. Now, obviously, some people don't pay their payments, there's churn, etc., but it's always healthy to operate a business with MRR, especially a coaching business or a course business. So school has been really heavily pushing MRR, and it's the most beautiful, brilliant thing that you can do for your business. The reason why I am not necessarily going to launch a membership, and I'm going to explain this to you guys right now, I'm not a huge fan of memberships. Personally, I feel like most memberships are just kind of like the leftovers. And for me, I never want anybody to buy something that feels like leftovers. Now, if you guys have been in my world any amount of time, I often over deliver by default, and I just don't also want the pressure of having to create something new every single month. So for me, what we are playing with and toying with, and what we've been doing for years, is having a higher ticket group program, which we've had high ticket group programs since the end of 2019, but maybe offering more extended payment plans in some way, shape, or form, or having a longer program or what have you. We really like that 6-month time frame, and knowing that if we continue to stack like we've been doing and just running the payments through school, we'll be able to get to the top of the school games as well, and transferring our payment processing from, we use ThriveCart right now, to transferring our payment plans over to school, and then our pay in fulls on ThriveCart. So that's kind of where our head is at with MRR. I don't foresee launching a membership, never say never, but at this point right now, we're focused on just really going to be heavily pushing our payment plans for our high ticket group program, and making it, as less friction as possible for people to join, and running that through school. Okay, so that's another reason, is really focusing on the MRR, seeing it all in one place, and being able to be ultimately a winner of the school games, because why the heck not go for the gold? Now, the last thing that I wanted to touch on about launching a school group specifically is, one of the big questions I'm probably going to get asked is, are you going to do a free community or a paid community? So at the time of filming this video, I'm filming it on August 25th, 2024. I'm still undecided, and I figured I'm not going to wait another week to make the video because I'm undecided. I'm just going to tell you guys why I'm undecided. Like I said earlier in the video, I have had a free Facebook group, and I loved it. I loved it until it burned me out, right? It's a lot to manage. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of free content. And if you guys know anything about me, I'm all about, sharing the wealth, right, from a place of knowledge and expertise. But I know the real transformation happens when people make an investment, period. Like, that's when the real transformation happens. So for me, it's a value. It's really just sitting with my values of valuing content and service, and then also valuing from a place of like reaching more people. Anytime anything's free, you're gonna get more people. But I don't know, and I fully believe I'm not at the place where I want to just reach everybody. I know that for sure. I want to reach the right group of people. So whether it's not really a membership, it's just a entry point fee to get into the community. Maybe it's a one-time fee. I'm not really sure yet. But I do want to have a community where people can, not necessarily like ask a bunch of questions, because that's what our paid containers are for, but just kind of get some like value and get some learn how to think. I really want people to learn how to think when it comes to building a business and ads and like things like that. So if we do decide to make it free, we will open it up to coaches and service providers that really want to grow on Instagram specifically, and YouTube and things like that. And just kind of be like the one-stop shop in that essence. So that may be free, that may come with a one-time fee, it may be something monthly recurring. Now, I am going to also move over, right, and I'm still deciding, but more than likely we're going to move over our paid communities into school, okay? And the reason why is because Facebook, I love Facebook, it's great, but we've been on there for a few years, and honestly, I'm just kind of ready to switch it up. So I'm not one to make a lot of changes in my business at once, but I figured if we're going to get on school, we might as well do it right. But if anything, I would definitely launch that more like lower ticket or early entry community where people aren't necessarily clients yet, so that they can get a lot of value, right? And what we would be doing is sharing our Facebook over here. We'd be sharing our podcast episodes. We'd be reposting stuff from our email list. Like, it would be there would be some fresh new content, but it'd be a lot of recycled content, but just all in one space. So if anything, we're gonna launch that first. And then from there, like I said, that may be free, it may be lower cost. I'm not quite sure. It's not gonna be thousands of dollars. It's just gonna be something that's super accessible for people, so that they can come to one place to learn from me. Then from there, right, once we get that established, then from there I will start doing the MRR stuff with our higher ticket group programs. Okay, so that's kind of my game plan for school. And like at the end, I want to make sure, number one goal is to have a seamless user experience, right? I'm all about client experience. I've worked in client experience since I was 16 years old. Like, the client is important to me, period, right? I also am really excited to be a part of a new movement where school is just kind of taking the world, the internet world, by storm. And I want to be kind of on the ground floor of that, although I'm 4 years in, but that's still very, like, 4 years late, I guess, to the game, but that's still very ground floor. But I feel really confident now that Alex Ramosi is behind it. Not that I didn't feel confident about Sam, but I know Alex is really, if he's putting his name behind something, he really believes in it, and I just trust him. And he's an excellent business person. And yeah, so but I've sat with it for a few months and I finally made the decision. So I'm gonna take you guys along this journey on us launching a school community. I'm really excited, and I will kind of just be documenting the process on what it's like, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. I will say, like, I give you guys a lot of pros. I will say the one thing I don't like about it so far, just from a place of like seeing other people use it, is that it is a separate platform. So it's another app, it's another thing that people have to download, but you know, in the same sense, it kind of gives people that exclusivity that Facebook, like, you can get really distracted on. The other thing I don't love about school so far is the idea that, like, all the communities are just like out there and available. You may be able to make it private. I mean, obviously if it's a paid community, things like that, it's private, but I don't know, I kind of like to be that, like, you know, like the black cat in the room. That's kind of who I've always been, like the little black cat, like super interested, super curious, but also like not a lot of access. So it's gonna be different to see that my community is just like out there in the wild. But I'm really excited to go on that journey and document and best practices and just share with you guys all the lessons that I've learned by launching on school, okay? And it's pretty dope being a female, specifically a woman, that's documenting the process, because I searched up and down and I don't really see a lot. So, you know, if you're new here and you found me through this video, definitely give me a like. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Check me out over on Instagram at Latisse Hudson. I've been doing this for almost 5 years, and I'm so passionate about this work. I'm so passionate about the online coaching and education industry, and I really stand behind it. And I want to bring you guys the best of the best content. So if you guys have any content ideas, let me know below in this video. But let me also know below in the video if you plan on launching a school group. If so, if you'll be following along on the journey, or if you already have a school group, drop it below. We'd love to check it out. But yeah, school definitely is taking the internet streets by storm, and I'm so excited to be a part of the movement. And I always say too, like, if I could say anything about starting something new, is that if it works, amazing. If it doesn't, there's always another option. I don't lead my life with plan Bs, and you shouldn't either. And also, I think so many people are so scared to move forward in their business or their life because they don't want to fear looking dumb or making a mistake. But that's the only way that you learn. So I don't know everything, you guys. You don't know everything, but that's the beauty of us coming together in this community, right? My 7-figure upgrade community is that we're gonna learn together, and that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here. So if we can all just come together and help each other, we will all be better for it. So I hope you love this video. Can't wait to get started on school. I'll be back with some more videos about school. And in the meantime, definitely subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I hope you found a lot of value today. I will see you in the next video.